5-MeO-DMT is referred to as the God molecule. And when people use it, they connect with the single source of what they are, which is God. Now, of course, I disagree with that. And the reason I disagree with it is because you could take that 5-MeO-DMT and give it to a monkey or a cat or a dog or even a retarded person that is mentally incapable of understanding anything. And of course, they're going to come away with a different observation. What 5-MeO-DMT does is it severs the connection pretty much between the physical body and the spirit. And so the severance comes, and there's nowhere for that spirit to go. I mean, when it's severed from the body and severed from this illusory physical reality, there's nowhere for it to go. It has to go back to its original source. And the original source is the essence of itself. And since the essence of itself has been on this path for eternity, because the essence is eternal, just like God is eternal, so since it returns to its eternal self, it just, when it reincarnates back into the physical body, it is only relating to itself, not to God, not to you, not to me, not to anyone other than itself. And itself is eternal. So if you are believing in non-duality, you're going to get the same result with 5-MeO-DMT. The same result being, it isn't going to change your faith, it isn't going to change your beliefs, it isn't going to do anything other than cement what you already assumed was real. Of course, you're not seeing God. Of course, you're not interacting with God. You're only interacting with yourself. And Jesus said, isn't it said that we are all gods? Well, of course we all are gods if we want to classify God as an eternal being or an eternal essence. But that doesn't mean you are connecting with the God as I am, as I'm referring to. Non-duality is a false teaching, I think originated, or at least it was originated by Adi Shankara 1,000 years ago, or approximately. And he was a very intellectual individual that died at a very young age. But like the intellectuals of today, they follow the same process that Lucifer follows, which is the route and path to becoming one with God is through intelligence, wisdom, etc., etc., leaving out the aspect of humility, love, respect, and all these sorts of things. Now, of course, they'll argue against that, but that's the nature of their arguing. They're arguing from a standpoint of essentially being demonic, if you will. I mean, that's just the way it is. And the reason is, or shall I say, the reason it is proved demonic is because well, look at YouTube, for instance. You can Google, you can search, you can YouTube anything you want to support what I am teaching or what I am saying is real. And essentially, you're not going to find anything. It doesn't exist. And of course, the reason it doesn't exist is because it's true. What I teach is true. But you're not going to get that from drugs. You're not going to get it from LSD. You're not going to get it from entheogens. You're not going to get it from anything. Do you honestly believe you can invade the space of God because of your arrogance, because you can take a drug and somebody else that doesn't have access to that drug is going to be not allowed to have one-on-one experience with God? Do you actually believe you are so arrogant that that's what you think? You cannot invade the space of God. When I say you, when anyone has a vision, a revelation, an experience that is from God, it's through invitation only. And invitation is not granted to lackadaisical type individuals or individuals that are sociopathic in nature, narcissistic. And literally that is pretty much a character trait of all those that preach the concept of non-duality. Most people, if not all people, that ascribe to that belief system are narcissistic at their core. They may not think that, but the reason they don't think that is because they only associate with narcissistic people like themselves. The fact that anybody that would believe it and would react to this video I'm making would initially create within themselves this violent argument against what I am saying. And the reason is not because of ignorance, not because I'm ignorant, not because I'm wrong, not because of anything other than it elicits a violent reaction within them. And if they hold back on their violence, then it's just a reaction of laughability, laughing it off. Oh, well, that guy's stupid. But they would rather be violent, but they're forcing themselves not to be violent because it goes against what their belief system is. But in reality, at their core, they're violent because they're demonic. And that's just the way it is. I don't have anything against demonic people. Even demonic people that hurt or harm me. Jesus said, forgive them. They don't know what they're doing. Well, at that point in life, they did not understand what they were doing because in their physical sense, they didn't. But the reality is, from a core essence, they did understand what they were doing. No police officer, military individual, call it whatever you will, that would put to death an individual and hang him on a cross can claim innocence that they didn't know what they were doing. Of course they knew what they were doing. Following the law does not make you exonerated from the aspect of being a hateful individual. That's why we are in the Kali Yuga, because we have a few people on top that are clearly demonic and everyone else follows their orders. That's the way the ruling class maintains control over this entire planet. We have a planet with literally a billion or several billion sheep, if you will. And I'm not saying sheep in the negative sense. I'm just saying that they follow their leaders, so to say, and don't think for themselves. But yeah, non-duality is a demonic teaching, spiritual non-duality that teaches you that you're God. Taking 5-MeO DMT and coming away with an experience of, oh, this is God, wow, what an experience. No, that's a narcissistic response to a a molecule that is not at the intensive level, but already existing in your body. And they say you experience it at approximately birth and death. But you can utilize that as a fake death, if you will. But yeah, it forces your spirit out of your body, in a sense, and there's nowhere for your spirit to go. So it reverts to itself. And like I said, itself is eternal. It isn't created by God. This is created by God. This physical body is created by God. Everything there is created by God. And we use the creation of God to create our own creations. For instance, I remodeled this home. So I took the substance material that God created, be it a tree or a rock or material or whatever. Somebody else fashioned it into this, that, and everything else. And then I fashioned it into something else. So the artwork I do, I'm using materials that were fashioned by someone else out of the original product that God created. So the air that my hand touches, though it's invisible to my eyes, I can feel it. It's there. It exists. I can feel it. You see, this is why people go like this to fan themselves. They feel the air coming into their face, even though it's invisible. They can't see it. So when you take 5-MeO-DMT, you're feeling something that somebody else doesn't feel at that particular time. Just like the wind that is going across my face when I do that. I feel it. It's real to me. Just like you feel the effects of 5-MeO-DMT when you take it. It isn't real to somebody else, but it's only real to you. But your interpretation of that is biased because of your belief system that you've already inculcated and made real for yourself. For you to be so arrogant and one-sided and to say, no, me, the guy that's telling you on YouTube that it is wrong, that that non-duality is false, it's fake, it's a lie. For you to disagree with me is denying me the same right that you are saying is valid for yourself. You're saying I'm taking 5-MeO-DMT and this is a real experience. Okay, I'm agreeing with you. It is a real experience. However, it's a wrong interpretation of that experience. That's what I'm telling you. The reason I'm saying that isn't based upon something I read somewhere. It's based upon my own experience. 50 solid years of researching, and then after 30 plus years, starting to feel the first effects of the love of God. 35 years before I started to realize things in this physical world that are non-existent for the average person. Just like 5-MeO-DMT is not real to people that don't take it. So I take something that I have been taking for 50 fucking years. And for you to be a hypocrite and tell me it isn't real is demonic. I don't deny that your 5-MeO-DMT experience is real. I'm telling you, your interpretation of it is not real. It is based upon your own narcissistic and corrupt teachings. And people that think that can change like that. In the snap of my finger. In a single beat of your heart, you can change from non-duality to duality. But it takes faith. And people like yourself refuse to believe faith. Because faith isn't easy. You can't take a fucking pill. You can't smoke a fucking joint of DMT and just bam like that. No, not with faith. Faith takes a whole fucking lifetime before you start feeling the first effects. And I doubt it takes a lifetime. I suspect I started this path way before I was born on this planet. Way before. People like Jesus started way before he was born. People like Buddha started way before he was born. People like Krishna started way before he was born. You can't take a fucking pill. You can't smoke a fucking joint and get what I have. No. It takes 50 fucking years. So you hypocrite fucks that say I'm wrong and you're right, you're a hypocrite. I don't deny your demonic values. I don't hate your demonic way of life. You can continue to choose that path until you die. It doesn't bother me in the least bit. I don't care. Just like Christ didn't care. But if you want to change, like that, you can do it. No, this message is for the poor folks who feel like they're insane because they can't find the truth anywhere. Because everyone promotes the lies. Everyone promotes the fake religions. Everyone promotes the fake gurus. Everyone promotes all of this crap. But they can't find the truth anywhere. It's like you look in the Brahma Sutras. There's like 10 or 12 words before the next sutra. And there's 10 or 12 more. But you can't read that anywhere because well, you can, but it's followed by like 5 pages or 1,000 or 2,000 words of a commentary from Adi Shankara. I mean, it's a biased thing. They tell you the truth in Sanskrit, and then it's very, very short, and then it's followed by thousands of words to brainwash you into believing what some crackpot, some demonic person taught thousands of years ago. Do you know that Sanskrit, I mean, anybody that is listening to it, I assume you know, Sanskrit is just a written language that was written down based upon verbal chantings that survived for thousands of years, put down from one person to the next person to the next person. And they would choose an individual and go, wow, you have a good memory. You have the ability to memorize and chant these things. We're going to choose you to relay the message that came from thousands of years before. And that held true for thousands of years before they finally decided to write it in Sanskrit. And it's very short. And then thousands of years after that, corrupt individuals put their own slant on it. Demonic people put their own slant on it. You can't read anything on this planet Earth in Sanskrit that isn't corrupt beyond imagination. Bhagavad Gita is pretty damn good, though. I will admit that. That's a pretty good one. They're all good, but I'm just saying that it's very difficult to read the Brahma Sutras because there's just so little there. There's just so little there. You can read it, but the only way to understand it is if you're already enlightened. And that's why Adi Shankara interpreted it and people believe it, because he was able to twist it any way he wants, because who's going to challenge him? The Sanskrit writings were so brief in their mentioning that they assumed people would know what they were talking about. And of course they did for thousands of years, but now we don't, because we are in the Kali Yuga. And in the Kali Yuga, there's darkness. That reigns supreme. Why do you think there's 10,000 gurus that teach non-duality? Because we are in the dark ages. It's a pure lie. It's demonic. But my message doesn't get out to anyone. Mainly because the demonic forces are controlling everything. YouTube, it's controlled by it. The government's controlled. Everything is controlled by demonic forces. It just is that way. That's just the way it is. No, nobody listens to this. And the reason they can't, because it's not promoted in YouTube. I get 0 views, or 1 or 2. Do I care? No, I don't give a shit. I don't care. But I have to make them anyways. It reminds me of the story in the Bible of Jonah and the whale. The guy goes, fuck it, I'm not teaching anybody. They won't listen. They kick me out of their cities. Fuck them. I'm not going anymore. And of course, in the story, a whale swallowed him up for several days. And, oh, sorry, God, I'll go ahead and preach it. Okay, blah. And out comes Jonah, and he's like, fuck that. I'm not doing that again. I'll go preach the gospel, whatever. Yeah, I don't want to be swallowed by a whale. No, I'm teaching the truth. I don't know of anyone in the world that teaches the truth spiritually. From the in-depth nature of the knowledge that I have, that I've gotten directly from God. And when I say directly, don't misunderstand me that I was sitting next door to God and go, hey, dude, how's it going? Shake his hand. No, that's not the way God communicates. It's certainly not in Scripture form. I'll tell you that right now. No, it's a different form of communication, but you wouldn't know anything about that because you want to take a fucking pill to get your knowledge. That's what you want. You don't want to know the real truth. You don't want to work your fucking ass off. You don't want to search the truth. You don't want to sit in prayer and fasting. No, you don't want to meditate. You don't want to spend 35 fucking years of your life before you even get the slightest hint of what I'm talking about. No, you want to take a fucking pill. 5-MeO DMT. Great way to go. Do it, folks. That'll open your mind. It'll teach you what the truth is, because I'm a dipshit that doesn't know shit from Shinola. That's what I am. Go take your DMT, take your LSD, take your entheogens. That'll teach you. Anyways, yeah, I'm kind of ranting. I'm kind of negative right now. And I shouldn't be. Well, yeah. Anyways, have a good day. Bye.